Hey guys, Hydra here. I've been away for quite a while and I am here today to talk about the Onryo buff. The Onryo in the last patch of 25th of July, together with the Nick Cage's arrival, has been reworked, and it's quite a massive rework and a polarizing one. The interesting thing about this rework is that some people think that Onryo is insane, somewhere around nurse tier, and others say that she's now weaker than she was before these changes. So let's talk about what these changes are, how the Onryo feels right now, what to expect later, and why some people say that Onryo is weaker than she was. Let's head into the discussion of her changes. As you all probably remember, previously the Onryo had 0 cooldown on her teleports, but the TVs themselves had an insane cooldown of 110 seconds. Therefore, you could only teleport 7 times each 100 seconds, but you can do that in short bursts. And each teleport would increase the condemned on all survivors in a 16-meter radius around those teleports, around those TVs, by 1 point out of 7 necessary. Therefore, if you could teleport to a TV 7 times when there was a certain survivor near it, you could then have them fully condemned. To get rid of that set condemned, survivors could grab tapes and then they would have one specific TV they would need to take these tapes to and insert them. You could only take a tape out of an... how is it called? Out of the TV that is turned on at the moment, but you could insert it into any TV. And this would rid you of 4 stacks of condemned. However, with each 25 seconds passed with you having the tapes, you would get 1 more stack of condemned. So you would need to do that fast. What has changed now? First of all, the Onryo got a cooldown of 10 seconds between the teleports, but now her TVs come back after 40 seconds instead of 100 seconds after she teleports to them. Therefore, you can use the same TV twice after only 40 seconds, and in a span of 100 seconds you can do 10 teleports, which is 3 more than it was before. This is quite nice, but what is better is that now Onryo inflicts 0.75 stacks of condemned on all survivors on the map who do not have the tape in their hands when she teleports. Therefore, you need to do 10 teleports to get all stacks of condemned on all survivors, unless they are carrying a tape. Whenever a survivor carries a tape right now, they are immune to getting new stacks of condemned from your teleports. And what's more important, they now don't gain condemned passively while carrying a tape. Finally, if you find any survivor with a tape and hit them, this tape will break and that said survivor will get 2 stacks of condemned. And what this made to Onryo is it made the condemned playstyle her main one. She is now incredibly good in using condemned kills in her games. I have an average of 2 kills per game from the moment of the update coming live. And this is quite noticeable. This is the reason why many people say that she's incredibly strong right now and maybe needs nerfs. Let me show you and explain to you how the normal game of Onryo goes right now for me. What happens is that I load up onto the map, and then after 30 seconds I start teleporting when my TVs turn on. I do 1 teleport, it's 0.75 stacks, then 1.5, then 2.25, and so on, so on, so on. And somewhere around 3 to 4 stacks of condemned, survivors start retrieving the tapes from the TVs. When I see the first person do that, I know for a fact how much stacks they do have, and what I need to do is to locate where that said survivor was and where they will be carrying their tape to. I need to find them, interrupt them, and hit them. This will give them 2 more stacks of condemned and expose them to my teleports. Then I will do a few more teleports, find that same survivor, and kill them off with condemned. This usually happens around 3 to 4 gens, which is actually insane. And what's more important, a lot of add-ons for the Onryo have been changed, and they are actually quite efficient in helping you out in doing this, though not at all game breaking in my opinion. I love the green brush the most right now. That's just a real nice support for the playstyle. Now, what's the issue here? And the issue is when you do 1 or 2 kills at 3-4 gens without doing a single hook, this deprives survivors of a lot of manpower and, most importantly, from a lot of chances to save their teammates. If a condemned person is downed, they are straight up dead. And this may be terrible for the team's survival. However, there is a way to outplay all of this in the beginning, and this is actually a thing that has been showcased in Odzarva's recent video. I will link it down below, and also it's appeared right there right now. And let me tell you what that is. This is the reason why certain pro players, or just streamers, say that Onryo is weaker than what she was before. The idea is that the tape right now completely blocks any chance of gaining condemned from teleports or any survivor that carries that tape. Therefore, if in the beginning of the game, when all TVs come online, what the fuck did I just say? When all the TVs just turn on in the beginning of the game, if all survivors find a TV for themselves and retrieve tapes from them, they deprive Onryo from 2 things at once. First one is the mobility to the exact places where those survivors are. And the second is Onryo's ability to inflict condemned on anyone from the team. This is just insane. This is so much of a counterplay, I can't believe this is even in the game. And this is a problem because Onryo now has 0 mobility, and more to that, she can't do any condemn on any survivor. Therefore, she has to walk on her feet to find any survivor with a tape and hit them and get rid of that tape. And only from that moment on, she can inflict condemned on at least 1 survivor. Therefore, this is just a killer with no power when that happens. The issue is, this doesn't really happen right now in public matches, which is obvious. The killer was just reworked, it's quite a significant one, and people haven't figured it out yet. But the good players have done that, and they've tested it, and that works. So, what will happen next? You see, I believe that right now Onryo is somewhere around tier 2. She can't be tier 1 obviously, because she's an M1 killer after all, but still she's pretty insane. This is a good state. However, give survivors a month or 2 or 3 and the Onryo will drop down significantly, just because teams will know and will have the ability to coordinate when to pick up the tapes and what to do with them, and after some time, 2-3 months, solo players probably will be able to do that as well. However, if I look back at what I've been saying about the Skull Merchant, I may be wrong about that one, at least for solo players. And if that happens, if my predictions are correct, I believe that Onryo will drop down from tier 2 to at least tier 3. And probably even lower, to tier 4 or tier 5 even, back there. That would be terrible. So something obviously, in my opinion, has to be done about the new Onryo, because right now she's got quite an insane dichotomy of power, the diversity of power. Right now she's incredibly strong, unless you meet people who know what to do, and after some time a lot of people will know what to do and she will drop down. This is not a good state of a rework, something else needs to be tweaked. So, what am I expecting right now? What do I think we should expect from the Onryo? There are 3 possible ways for her to go on further. The first one is that behavior don't change anything about the Onryo. I'm not sure if this is necessarily the right decision, because it will go down like I have previously described. Or did I? Anyway, the idea is as follows. Gradually, over time, people will understand better and better how the Onryo works and what the counterplay to her new playstyle is. So after a month or 2 or 3, depending on how much time survivors will need to learn how to play against the Onryo, she will gradually drop down from tier 2 to tier 3 or maybe even tier 4, tier 5, back there somewhere. The second thing that may happen is behavior listen to the crowds saying that she's overtuned and start nerfing her, only strictly nerfing her one way. This will just take all of my predictions and make them come earlier and be harder. Therefore, it's not tier 3 or tier 4, it's tier 4 or tier 5, maybe even the old level, which would be actually terrible. This would mean that the rework that behavior have done won't affect the situation. The killer that wasn't popular, that wasn't fun, that wasn't strong, will not be all of that again, and I don't think they want that. Same as with previous path, actually. Finally, the last thing that should probably be done here is tweaking some of her numbers and quirks. Of course, her ability to inflict contempt right now is maybe a little bit too good to stay in the game as is. Maybe the numbers for the teleportation time need to be tweaked, do it like Dre just 12 seconds when he's not in the night mode. Maybe just reduce the amount of stacks to something like 0.6 stacks per teleport maybe, to not make it insanely hard to stack Condemned, but to increase the time that survivors have to outplay that. But at the same time, change the tapes. Don't make them that oppressive in countering the Onryo. Okay, let's make tapes that prevent survivors from getting stacks, but instead of making them immune from gaining stacks from the teleports, let's make it something around 50% decreased or 33% decreased amount of stacks gained. And from the 0.6 stacks per teleport, survivors with tapes will get 0.3, 0.4 stacks, which should be better than what it is now. At least that's what I believe. Of course, those numbers are completely made up right in the moment of recording this video, they may be incorrect, but I believe that's the general idea that's important. Anyway, if you still are struggling to understand what have changed about the Onryo, why she feels so strong, or maybe why some people call her weak, or how to counterplay her right now, I hope that this video helps you to do just that. And with that said, thank you all for watching, and I hope to be back soon with another one. I'll see you there. Goodbye now.